Hello, everyone. We are back. We're listening to Oscar Pettiford again because we didn't finish the album last time, and it's just beautiful, and I can't stop putting it on loop. I have a bit of a cold today, so if you hear any weird cuts, it's probably because I went off screen to sneeze or cough or something. But we're back on Minecraft, I started a new world, hardcore, and I messed around with the custom biome settings, so you'll see throughout the video some interesting stuff happening, like this lava ocean. Today, I had the absolute pleasure of attending a youth leadership summit out of my county. And, of course, I got the chance to make some opening remarks where, if you remember last video, we were talking a bit about what do we want the kids to know. And I got it. That making that video helped me so much, and I'm really hoping I can get some more inspiration just by talking here today, and I hope that by listening, maybe you can pick up on a few things too. So I took those ideas about taking tangible action in our communities, and I ended up quoting Voltaire, who, if you're not familiar, was one of the Enlightenment philosophers. And I quoted when he said, "All men are guilty of the good they did not do in the world." And I really want to take this mindset of we can truly, truly always do more. And one of the workshops we had was talking about how we can flip our mindset, and it sounded kind of cringy to me, if I'm gonna be so honest. Okay, haha, I get it, let's think positively. But then I really started to put my head into it, and it's there are some times where I've really needed to do that I just haven't thought to. One of the ones that I really, really liked was, I don't have enough time, and then fill in the blank. So what I said was, I don't have enough time to do all the advocacy that I want to do. And it kind of forced me to think of, how could I change my mindset here? What could I do differently? And there are a few things. I think, for one, is changing the way I do advocacy so that I give myself time to relax and also somehow do something good with my time. I mean, right now, instead of scrolling through YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and doing nonsense, at the very least, I played Minecraft, so I relaxed a bit, and now I get to talk and reflect and think about my advocacy so that I can do it better, right? And it's just so important to take that step back and look. I was being a bit bittersweet, I guess. I was feeling a bit bittersweet on my way home from the summit, thinking, this is my last time, most likely, at least as a student, a high school student, going to one of these summits and being able to interact with all of my peers, because I'm graduating and this is an annual thing. So I really wanted to make the most of it, and I really think I did. I met a lot of new people, and it was so fun just because it was wow, I didn't realize that I had done so much over the past few years, that people knew me for the things I did. It's one thing for people to know you just because it's oh, you're a friendly guy and whatnot, and they should, that is a good thing. But when someone's able to say, hey, you're the person that did this, it makes my heart melt, because it means I did something that had an impact on at least one person. And it really helped me get out of this mindset that I find myself in of, I'm going to be so honest, I am so terrified that, I may pass away and think, have I done enough? And in reality, we go back to Voltaire's quote: all people are guilty of the good they did not do. And truly, you'll never be able to fix everything. And I think that's where I get caught up, is the idea that I can fix absolutely everything. No. However, what I can do is make the most efficient use of my time and try and help as many people as I can within that time. Because the idea that our time is so limited, and we really have to make the most of it. Oh, see, if you haven't noticed, I just looked at the actual Minecraft footage. I turned on really big ores, okay? Like ore veins, because I'm sick of finding iron. And I don't care that it's cheating, because this is how I want to play. If you want to play differently, that's fine. You go play. Okay, let's not the point. But what am I saying? Well, okay, I got it. So when we're not doing enough good, which is true, we can never do enough. What we can do is also help other people try and do good, because it shouldn't die with us, right? I really hope, I guess he's not watching this, but I'm training one of my replacements, and I've just become so proud of him, because he really wants it. And don't get me wrong, like, he's not perfect. He has his flaws, and I will call him out on them, and he will try and improve. But the fact that there are people that are willing to say, hey, what you're doing matters, let me do something like that. It's what motivates me to keep going, because I still in the rut of like are we ever doing enough? Are we ever doing enough? How can we find fulfillment? It's hard. It's hard, and the answer is that you're never going to be able to lie down and just say, I'm done. I guess I don't know that. I'm 17 years old. I haven't even gone to college yet, and I've only been doing advocacy for 3 years. I've cared about people. I've always cared about people, but I haven't been taking an active stance to do something about it. And I now that I'm doing that, it's just, I'm hungry. I'm hungry for more. Like, I'm also hungry because I haven't eaten dinner, but that's besides the point. We shouldn't settle for what we have. And it's one of those things that I find troubling with liberalism. And I'm not even going to talk about national politics. I don't want to go there tonight, quite frankly. But even in local politics, I often find myself talking to some of our politicians and just saying, hey, you have the ability to stand up for the queer community. You're an incumbent. Like, let's be honest, you are in office for as long as you'd like to be. And if you have a term limit, it's like no one cares enough. Okay, people know your name. They're gonna keep voting for you. You may as well try to do some good. And gosh, I feel like we're just so afraid of being a little bit radical, because honestly, I don't think they even think that way. Well, I know they don't even think that way, because I didn't think that way once either. So I can't be surprised that we have people that have been in this same space of politics, and everyone's telling them, you're doing it right, you're doing it right, you're doing it right, that nothing gets better. I feel like I learned the most about how to help things when I mess it up. I've had so many events that I've run just be embarrassments, quite frankly. It's because it's embarrassing to say hey, show up to my thing, and then it's nice that, like, oh, you'll get 2 people to show up, but like what, 2 people? Okay, this sucks. Like, we can't do it with just us. So you have to meet people, and you have to be willing to put yourself out there. When I was younger, when I first started advocacy, I remember that I was just an absolute wreck. Like, I suffer with anxiety. I suffer with depression. I get mood swings. Like, just putting that all out there, because it's a thing I go through, right? And when I first started, I was like, I did not know how to deal with it, and I still really, really struggle with it. Like, that is why I'm doing this, because, like, I just need to talk. And I swear I'm not crying. My nose is stuffy. When I started to figure out how to deal with these things, when I started going to therapy, getting help, getting resources, and honestly, the biggest part of it was just talking with my friends, and not even in a way that was just like, guys, I feel bad. No, guys, I feel bad. What is something I can do to improve my condition? Because I swear I'm being so for real. There was a point in my life where I did not want to be around anymore, and I did certain things about that. I'm not going to go into any more details than this now, but I figured that if I don't want to be here anymore, the very least I could do is try and help a few people. And I started with my friends. I legit just started taking care of some of my friends, and I started to feel a little better, because I realized, yeah, I get to do this. And, you know, I really still struggled with all these mental health issues, but I continued to do advocacy, if you even want to call, like, just helping out here and there advocacy. But I just pushed myself, because if this is what's keeping me here, I may as well. And then eventually I started to gain some really, really good friendships, and they were very open-minded, because we were all exploring our identities and figuring out how insane life was, because it's all of our first times going through it. So I was just able to talk about my issues without any judgment. And I realized sometimes that's just what people need, because afterwards I feel like I've gotten to the point where today I'm good. Like, yeah, I never feel perfect. No one does. But I'm able to manage. And now my advocacy is so much more efficient, because instead of being worried about my anxiety, my ideation, my bad thoughts, I can worry about how am I going to accomplish this for my community. So that's honestly been kind of my motive. Well, also just in the vein of, like, trying to be a good friend and a good person to help others. Because if you hear people out, even one time, that can be all they need. Sometimes if you just listen to someone once and then you never talk to them again, maybe they'll be able to see that, oh, well, if I can do this with some stranger, then I can talk to my best friend. I can tell them how I feel. I can maybe even talk to my parents. In reality, it's just you need to be that ear sometimes, and then at the same time you have to be that voice, right? Because you can be a voice of reasoning for people as well, because especially if you've gone through these experiences, you can relate to people, and that's important. I mean, I'm not saying I want anyone to go through this stuff, but if you have and you think that you can do something in the world, at least be there for others. Okay, let me talk a bit about Minecraft. No. So what I have here is I got some sheep. I'm like also on very, very low hunger, and I set up a little platform for myself. Cause right now, like here, I'm just playing. Like I was just playing, and I decided that my goal is going to be to make a rainbow of wool. And how I'm gonna try and do that is I gotta get to the other islands and just find more resources, because we got small biomes on too. So I'm gonna try and look for a desert, find some cacti which I can smelt down into green dye, and then also just pick some flowers too. But I do actually think I'm gonna cut it off here, because it was a good day. It was a long day though, and I feel like I got a lot of stuff done, and I have to allow myself to be proud that I did something, which I'm going to be, and I'm going to be happy, but also I'm not gonna stop, right? I think finding that balance is really hard, at least for me personally, but being able to say, yeah, I'm proud, I've done something today, let me rest a bit, relax, do something fun, so that I can do a bit more tomorrow. I love you all. Good luck with everything.